biggest advantage. A lot of parents do too much for their kids, or they kind of coddle them, which is basically handicapping your child, right? And so like my parents helped me exercise that muscle of literally falling on my face and getting back up. And so like everything that I viewed, I just knew it was gonna be hard, or I knew it was gonna take a little bit more time. And that was the kind of the phrase, like, it's not can't but how, the more empowering, like, how am I gonna get through this? And so like the challenges as a kid, they were just like the little games for me. And I just wanted to figure out, you know, how I can push myself, or I wouldn't want to ask for help. I always tried to be independent. Tom, my whole life, there was always that the other people putting limiting beliefs on me, or putting their limits on me. Like from the moment I was born, the doctors handed over a list to my parents, who were like, Mr. and Mrs. Santonastasso, your son survived this super crazy thing, but here's all the things he won't be able to do. And you know, my parents threw that list out, and they weren't gonna let other people put limitations on me. And so they always just were firm believers, like, Nick, you can do whatever you want. You know, your mindset is the biggest superpower, and they always engraved that into me. And so, you know, I told these people, I said, you're right, I'm not gonna become a wrestler. I'm gonna be a varsity wrestler, and you're kind of gonna watch, and I'm gonna try my best. And that was always my thing, is like, as long as I try my best, as long as I attempt it, then, you know, that's not failing. Because there's a lot of people in life, whether it's in their personal life or in their business life, and they sit on the sideline and are like, man, I don't have the resources, I can't build a business. Or I'm not old enough, I don't have the knowledge. Or I'm too old that I can't build a business. And I always tell people, I'd much rather be in the trenches. I'd much rather be on the field than sitting on the sideline wasting time and thinking, man, I can't do that. So my whole view of life is like, I would try everything. My thing is like, why not? You know, I'm just gonna try everything. And so that was like the turn for me of starting wrestling. Everything's gonna be hard. And I feel like when, like, even now kids or some people, if they quit because things are hard, they just haven't done uncomfortable things enough. They haven't got out of their comfort zone enough and experienced, you know, what that discomfort is. And so now for me, it's just, I know everything's gonna be challenging. And like the can't but how thing, like, people say, you know, maybe mindset mumbo jumbo, but like the majority of not only entrepreneurs, but human beings, like we start off with can't. Like the majority of people are like, oh, you can't do this because this, and this. And it's like, humans are very disempowering creatures. Like if we don't catch our thoughts, if we don't catch our patterns, if we don't catch the things that come out of our mouth, if they're negative, like we need to switch that. And so now me, like my guys, everything is how. Like, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna, you know, get through this problem? And let's reverse engineer everything. That's how I do it now, is just figuring out, you know, what is our strengths? That's the one thing I've realized. Like, I'm 23 years old, and you know, starting a company, I didn't go to college. So I'm learning as I go. And that's the whole thing, is like, I'm a student of the game, and I realize that I only know what I know, and I'm only 23, and there's so much to learn, and I'm just going to learn by throwing myself in the waters and like figuring out how to swim. And so, especially in business, the one thing I've realized is like, a good leader puts people where they excel. You know, they put people where they prosper. And so it's like figuring out like, what are your strengths and what are you good at, and let's put people there, and then like delegate or outsource your weaknesses. And I think it's funny because in the school systems, it's total opposite. It's actually like, what are your weaknesses? Let's go work on this. And then like entrepreneurship is like, let's double down on our strengths and like outsource our weaknesses. I always just had limiting beliefs that I wasn't smart and wasn't good enough. But now like, I'm reattaching a better meaning to like learning and like self-education. And so like reading more books and realizing like, all the knowledge is here, and I just need to apply myself and actually apply myself into something that I enjoy or something that we're focusing on. Yeah. And so I've kind of like, you know, got over that, like the old me of I suck at school, to like, I'm just gonna read books and like write notes, and I'm gonna learn that way. And that's how I'm gonna ride. Like, I'm not gonna have like a pain behind learning. Also realizing like communication wise through your people, like the behavioral assessments and how you operate, because you know, communication is key. That's one of the core values in our company, is like transparent communication. Like the only way we're gonna work through something is if we openly communicate about how you feel. I don't care if you're pissed off at me, I don't care if you hate me in the moment, like I need to know so we can work through this. You know, Nelson Mandela has this quote, in life I don't lose, I only win or learn. Like if people can realize, like so many people think like they've lost, but like if you just pull one piece of information that's good, whether it's a different perspective, extracting knowledge, a different way to go about life, a different way to not fall on your face, like that's winning. And so if I just want people to realize like they have everything inside of them to do whatever they need to do. You know, over the 23 years of my life, I've realized that it's not this physical body. You know, people can see me on the street and be like, wow, look how disabled that guy is. And I'm like, have you seen your mindset? Like, have you seen the way you operate? Like, have you seen the way that you react to situations, that you're pissed off in traffic, that you think the world is happening to you? Like, I'm not disabled, like you're handicapped. And to let people know that like the biggest and baddest people are handicapped and crippled by the limiting beliefs, the things that they tell themselves. And that's why I say the biggest disability is a bad mindset. It's not this body. And so that's how I want to shift people's perspective, is realizing like, man, this guy's got no legs and one arm, but he's doing all these amazing things and letting people know like you have everything inside of you to do whatever you need, but you need to get this right. Your operating system, your computer system, through the simulation that we live in.